Welcome back to Get It Garage. This is the newest addition to our fleet of vehicles here. It's a 2005 Jeep Liberty CRD. It's a 4-cylinder with an automatic transmission. Not too stoked about the automatic part, but hey, I like the turbo diesel, so we went with it. This thing is probably going to be mostly used for like camping and off-road, so you might not see me driving it too much, but right now it's the newest addition. And we are going to do some pretty cool videos with it and some upgrades. Right now we actually have to do the rear brakes on it. So we picked some brakes up off of eBay. These are, it was a $50 set, believe it or not, which is pretty cheap. It's got massive torque with a small 2.8 liter. You would not believe it pulls like a V8. It is going to need a little bit of engine work too. So far, it's been great. We've been driving it for about a month, and we got to fix a couple of little things on it, but we will be making some videos with this thing coming up in the future. So what we're doing today is working on the Jeep, and we're removing the EGR system. And we got the, I don't even know what you call this. I think this is the EGR, part of the EGR system, because you can actually remove this whole part. It looks like a throttle body, but this is a diesel, so it's not. But that is caked with soot and oil. Basically the oil and the soot mixed together, and it cakes up like that, and it blocks your airflow. Also, this is a turbo. It's already got hot air going into it. You don't want any more hot gases from the exhaust coming into the intake, so that's going to probably give us a little bit of an increase in power when the EGR is supposed to activate, and it doesn't. We'll have cold air instead of hot air, so that's cool. We got some hoses to remove. We also took off the actual EGR pipe here, and we're going to make a little block off plate for right here out of some sheet metal, so when we put it all back together we don't get any accidental gases back up there in the intake. Next thing that we're looking at is going to be both of those two hoses are the coolant supply and coolant return for the EGR cooler. Right now it's leaking right here. That's the EGR valve right there. So it's leaking at the EGR valve, has some coolant going into it, it looks like, as well. That is broken and leaking. So we're going to bypass all of this and not use the EGR anymore. Sorry, EPA. So what we did was there was actually a Y fitting located right here in between these two right now, and we just took the Y fitting out and we put a straight piece in there, so there's no Y anymore. The leg of the Y was going to the EGR cooler. This was the Y that was in there, and you can see this is made out of, it's made out of steel. That's what the OEM part was. I ordered a kit from idparts.com, and they sent me this little piece of plastic. Like, that wouldn't have even reached to span the distance of the two pipes that I had to, you know, put in there. If I would have used this, it would have put a kink in the line. So we bought a brass fitting from Home Depot for $4. The whole kit from ID Parts, I didn't even use any of the pieces out of it. Honestly, I should have done my homework, and probably, honestly, I wouldn't have bought it, but either way, live and learn. Next, we have to put the EGR cooler line that's going back to the block. Actually, is this line right here, which we already have off of the EGR cooler. This line right here. And we're going to block that off. Now, ID Parts also sent me a plug that you can use, because there's a way up in here where you can't see. There's actually a fitting that goes into the block. You can remove that and put the plug there, but I've heard that people have trouble with it, and I saw that a couple of people just blocked off that hose, so that's what we're going to do. And then the only other thing we have to do is make a little block off plate for this, and we're just going to trace this out on a piece of sheet metal and drill a couple of holes in it and put it all back together again. Making moves, making moves. People are going to freak out when they see me with gloves right next to this fucking thing. So, as you can see, we got this all straightened out. We got a couple of pilot holes drilled in it. Something that I was taught is to never try and drill through sheet metal with a large drill bit, because it's just going to mangle, especially when you have to get close to the edges. To use a stepper bit. And these are actually designed for wood, I guess, but we're going to just step it up here to where the black tape starts, and that'll be perfect and ready to go back together. See how close we are to the edge right there? If that would have been on a regular drill bit, it would have just tore that to shreds. We'll just pound that out a little bit, make it flat again, clean that up a little, and we're going to be good to go. Large and in charge and looking for chickies. Back from the store, we got some freshies. Time to clean this out. Took it apart too, so we can really clean it real good. This is how nasty it was in there though. Still gotta peel that out of there and clean it out. So that's what we're gonna do.
How do they come out?
Looking pretty good.
Nothing stuck to the walls anymore.
No.
Oh, that one looks really clean. Wow, yeah. You went ham on that one.
Yeah, kind of have to.
So we're on day 2 here of the EGR delete on the Jeep. Last night we worked till like 5:30 in the morning, which was kind of shitty. Putting this guy back in, and obviously deleting the lines. So we got the battery back in, got the hoses all hooked back up, everything's in the air box back in and everything, and get it garage style.
We gotta fill this sucker up.
No funnel.
Alrighty, we're gonna tune the Jeep. So we were kind of debating about what to put on here, and there are quite a few different options. There's free tunes out there that's what we're looking at right now. I didn't want to spend $500 on one. I can't find Jeep in here. Where's Jeep?
It's Chrysler.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. And then select the model, and it's going to be the, in this particular case, it's going to be the Jeep Cherokee, which is the same as the Liberty, but in Europe. So 2.8 liter CRD Bosch, and we already have the file downloaded, which is just going to remove the EGR and the flow control valve systems. Open. Continue programming. Okay. It's doing its thing. Switch off the key. Wait 5 seconds to continue. 3, 4, 5. Hit OK. Switch key on. Programming completed.
So it's the first time trying to start it after the EGR delete tune. No leaky. Sounds pretty good, actually. So anyway, no check engine lights or anything.
Nope, and the EGR is deleted. We definitely blocked it off.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go for a little drive, warm this sucker up, make sure that everything stays in where it's supposed to stay, coolant stays in the coolant, gases for the exhaust stay in the exhaust area and not in my intake. Alright, so we got the Jeep all back together again. This is the next day. It's actually a couple days later now. Need to drive it a little bit more still. The brakes were $50. Link in the description if you guys are interested. Also,
the tunes that we used and the cable that we used. We'll put that in the description too in case you're interested. It worked really well. There was no flaws on it at all. Hopefully we'll be good to go. If you have any questions about the tune that we use, or if you have any questions about the way that we had to go about doing this, please leave some comments. We'd be happy to help anyone that runs into the same problems, because there was not a lot of information out there for this Jeep. But she's back on the road and going good. Hopefully we'll have some more videos of her coming in soon. If you like what we're doing, please like, comment, subscribe.